Hi there, I'm here today going to show you how I make these ribbon wands. These are perfect for showing your school spirit at sporting events, or they're perfect for weddings, and they're really super cheap to make. So I'm just going to show you how I put these together. So the supplies you'll need a pair of scissors, you'll need some ribbon. I'm using two colors, red and yellow. I'm making them for a school here locally. And you can use any kind really. I prefer the thinner kind just so I get even coverage. I got these each for $2 at Walmart. You'll need a hot glue gun and glue sticks, and you'll need these wood dowel rods. These are, I want to say there's 3/16 of an inch thick, and these specific ones are 36 inches long. Again, these are really cheap. I got these at Hobby Lobby for, I believe, 30 cents. I'll link everything in the description and put costs there. But again, it's really cheap. After you gather your supplies, the first thing you want to do is to cut down these wood dowel rods. This full one is 36 inches long. It's a little off camera there. So you can keep it that long if you're going for that kind of effect, but I prefer smaller ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into 12-inch segments, which will make it perfect length. I'm going to use the example one that I've already made to measure these off since I don't have a ruler with me, but really you can make these any length you'd like. I'm going to use my scissor to mark where I need to cut it along here. And I've also found an X-Acto knife works well for measuring that. Alright, I'm going to then take these scissors and I'm going to use them to kind of like saw into this wood. There's definitely better things to cut these dowel rods with than just scissors, but this is all I have available to me. So that's what I'm going to use. And basically just rolling this through this to cut it and make a deep enough gash in it. You can kind of see that I can just pop it right off. So the edges on here are a little jagged, so I'm just going to again use my scissors and kind of cut that down. If you have sandpaper, that would work a million times better, so I recommend that. Alright. So we've got this. It's a nice, good length for us to use. At this point, you should plug in your hot glue gun so you can get started on that. So once your hot glue gun is heated up, go ahead and grab one of your colors of ribbon, the dowel rod you just cut, and that glue gun. So then you go ahead and choose which end to start with. I'm going to unravel a little bit of the ribbon before I start, but I'm going to keep it on the spool here just so I know I always have more. We're just going to see where we want to start it off. It's okay for it to go over the edge here a little because you can just trim that. So I'm just going to choose a starting point and place a dab of hot glue and then place down my ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and just trim the excess up here. So now that I have the red on there, I'm going to go ahead and grab the yellow and start with that one. And there you go, you've got the base of your ribbon wand all ready to go. I do have a little bit of glue strands from a hot glue gun everywhere, but that's one of the parts of using a hot glue gun for this project. Okay, so next we are going to work on the edges of it that have the wand. This is the wand part, and we're going to next work on the edges of it. So I'm going to put this aside, clean up a little bit from this, and get back to you. Alright, So when you're making the edges of your ribbon wand, a good rule of thumb on the size of these things to follow is you want them to be about the length of your original wand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put down 4 of each color. You might have seen when I was cutting these out, I wasn't very exact. It's okay not to be. When you're waving them around, you're not going to tell. And sometimes I kind of like it when you aren't able to see everything be the same size on these. So I don't need my scissors anymore. I'm going to put those aside. So we're going to go to the top of ours. We decided this one was going to be the top, and we're going to lay these down. So I'm going to start with the red. I'm going to put these aside. I'm going to grab 2 red ones. I'm going to just choose a starting point, any starting point, and put a dot of hot glue and lay this down like this, facing up. That creates our first strand of red. Get some of that glue off my fingers. And then I'm going to go exactly opposite of this first one and place our second dot of glue. So we've got our first 2 pieces. I like to alternate, so in between those, I'm now going to grab 2 yellow pieces of ribbon, and that's where I'm going to put those. It's okay if they're not perfectly positioned on there because we're going to put another layer of ribbon. So this is our first layer. It's pretty simple. So when I add my second layer, if you think of this as me putting it in like a plus design on there, the next ones we're going to try to put in an X or kind of diagonally across these. So again, we're going to start with red. I like to put my darker color down first just because it means there's not really a chance of it covering up the lighter color. And I'm going to go right here in the corner of these 2 colors to place down that red. I guess it doesn't matter too much where you place these, but I've found that I like this design best. So I'm just going to go across from that one, put another dot of glue, and place this down. Alright, so we've got our second layer of red on there. And we're now going to grab the yellow and get that last bit of ribbon on there. On the second layer, I like to use a little bit more glue so it spreads a little more, just to make sure that everything is down tight, especially when you're using thicker ribbon like I am. All right. So that's the basics of it. You've got yourself a nice ribbon wand. I'm going to add a little bit of decorative piece that you don't really need, but I just feel it's necessary on this one just because this feels a little bulky up here at the top. So what I'm going to do, let's see what color I'll use. I'm going to start with the red ribbon, and I'm actually going to just make a band around it like so, just to help cover that up, and I'll probably put a yellow piece underneath there as well. So what I'll do is I'll put a drop of hot glue and then place that to cover up where this ribbon meets the wand part of this. Wrap this around. I'm gonna bring back out my scissors to right here. I made that a little short, but that's okay. Just stretch it as far as I can to see if it'll fit. It's just gonna need a little bit more glue, and that doesn't match up perfectly, but because of how these are used and how they'll be in crowds, these don't need to be perfect. So you've got that little bit band right up here. Thanks for watching my video. My ribbon wand looks great and is all done, and I can't wait to use it this week to cheer on my team. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I'll put all products used in the description box and try to explain anything I might have not have shown on video, though I think with this one I showed everything on video.